the sheer exhilaration of takeoff. It's enough to make an aerospace engineer jealous. Chrysler Concorde. Built on the belief that great cars appeal to a more passionate side. And now, ranked best premium midsize car in initial quality by J.D. Power and Associates. Chrysler. Engineered to be great cars.
The episode that changed it all.
Zeus, your true destiny is on Olympus.
On the next Hercules.
Saturday at 3 on WGN.
On today's Discover Card Payback Playback, Orlando Merced capped one of the Cubs' most dramatic wins of the season with a 3-run homer in the 9th inning 11 days ago. The Cubs battled back from a 10-2 deficit to beat Milwaukee 15-12 on September 12th at the friendly confines. Another amazing Cub comeback, today's Discover Card Payback Playback.
7-0 Cubs as we head to the 7th. Gary Gaetti leads it off and looks at a ball high, 2 balls and a strike. Well, they're building beautiful Miller Park across the street. I don't know if they're going to let him tear this place down. It's going to be on the National Register of Historic Places. Line drive left field.
Well, a couple more base hits, and our projections show us that Sammy will come to bat in the 8th inning. And now they're going to pinch run for Gary Gaetti, and it's going to be Manny Alexander. So Gary with a couple of hits and a walk today. He scored 1 run, and the day is done for Gaetti, who's just been brilliant since putting on a Cub uniform, and he gets a good hand from the Cub faithful who made the trip north and were rewarded by 2 Sosa home runs, the second of which was just a line drive rocket to straightaway center.
That ball was maybe the hardest hit, the one he hit in Colorado off the scoreboard, and the shot he hit in San Diego. Those were 3 rockets, but everything he hits seems to go out hard. And that, as you said, Steve, that shot he hit, he didn't hit it all that hard. That ball he hit to right field, it just kind of curled over the fence. But whatever he did with that at bat, it got his timing down, has got his confidence up, and he's homered twice today. All it takes is 1, and he hits them in bunches.
And the key with Sammy is when you see him hitting the ball to right field, you know that that stroke is getting right where he wants it to be, and he showed it to you the next at bat.
1-1. Way outside. That is incredible. 2 balls and a strike. Swung on, hit high in the air. That's deep toward right. Burnett's drifting back at the edge of the track. He's got it. And Morandini flies out.
Mickey making a bid for his career high 9th home run. Of course, every home run now is a career high for him, but he falls a couple of feet short.
So there's 1 away. Alexander retreats to first, and Scott Service stands in. Valerio De Los Santos will start to loosen up in the Milwaukee pen. They got some guys with some great names down there.
That's a good one.
De Los Santos.
Bronswell Patrick is a good name.
I like Rafael Roqe with the Brewers, who started today.
The Cubs have liked him in his 2 starts also.
Yes, they have. And that hits Scott on the arm. He'll take first base on the hit batsman. First and second, 1 out. And again, that makes all these fans happy, for it ensures that Sosa will have at least 1 more at bat today.
But I don't think I've seen any player cheered for getting hit as Mark Grace was cheered for getting hit last night to allow Sammy to come to the plate 1 more time.
So as Steve Trachsel stands in, let's pause quickly for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN, Chicago.
County Stadium, an historic sight again today. Sammy Sosa's hit a couple of home runs. Steve Trachsel has retired 10 men in a row. He's got a 2-hit shutout working, and now Dan Roan once again makes the slow walk out of the Milwaukee dugout and out to the pitcher's mound here.
Hope he has a lot of tread on those shoes, because he's made a tremendous amount of trips to the mound in the couple of series the Cubs and the Brewers have played. Sammy has hit 12 home runs against his Brewer pitching staff. 12 home runs in 1 year against one staff. And I guess it would be out of the question to invite that staff to Houston to pitch against us down there.
Well, we can invite them, but I don't think they'll be allowed to accept. I mean, Bud Selig used to own the Brewers. He's now the commissioner of baseball. He's got a lot of pull, but I don't think he has quite that much.
I think Phil Garner, when this season is over, won't even want to look at a picture of Sammy Sosa. I think he's seen quite enough of him for 1 year and enough of the home run trots.
Nobody could have imagined this kind of year from Sammy Sosa. That's what's really made it so fun in watching this happen for him. 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, here's an amazing stat. Is the 12 home runs against one team by Sammy Sosa is the most by one player against one team since 1961, when Roger Maris had 13 homers against one team. That's just astounding. He has murdered this pitching staff.
And he's got another shot at him in today's ball game. 1-1. Trachsel hits a chopper toward third. Out at second, Rhea to first is not in time. Trachsel hustling down the line, keeps the inning alive. Service is forced at second, 5-4, I believe. And Traxel's at first.
Well, the projections will hold. Sammy will come to bat in the 8th inning.
And that's going to do it for Mr. Henderson. He'll work an inning and 2/3. He's given up 1 run, 2 hits. The runners at the corners belong to him. And Valerio De Los Santos will come on and face Lance Johnson in a 7-0 Cub lead.
Dig the hole, dig the hole, dig the hole.
Catch the tail, catch the tail, catch the tail.
Bite the leg, bite the leg, bite the leg.
Take a lesson from the dog. Focus on the simple things and you'll be happy.
Find a fare, find a fare, find a fare.
Now you have the freedom to fly Southwest from Chicago Midway to St. Louis for $30. But hurry, must purchase by October 12th.
Find a phone, find a phone.
3 sisters.
You saw that, right?
Complete strangers until their mother's secret bonds them forever.
Just once, can't you trust me? You turned me into a witch.
Their mother always told them they were special. Shannon Doherty, Holly Marie Combs, and Alyssa Milano. Charmed.
Premiering Wednesday, October 7th on WGN.
Sammy Sosa just biding his time, waiting for 1 more shot at Milwaukee today. We're in the top half of the 7th, and Valerio De Los Santos will come on and become the 4th Brewer pitcher on the afternoon.
The National League record of homering against one team is held by both Hank Sauer and Joe Adcock. Hank Sauer hit 13 against Pittsburgh in 1954. Adcock also hit 13 against the Brooklyn Dodgers. And Sammy will get at least 1 more swing.
And folks, 4 games counting today left in the season. And what a raucous Cubs convention we're going to have, celebrating what we hope will be a playoff appearance by the Cubs. The 14th annual Cubs convention, January 15th through the 17th, 1999 at the Chicago Hilton and Towers. Get your reservations now. Dial 312-922-4400, and for tickets 312-831-CUBS. I'm really looking forward to my first Cubs convention. Stoney, I hope you'll be there as well, and hopefully we'll have an awful lot of fun reminiscing about what's been a most remarkable 1998 campaign.
Well, there's been so many thrills this year that it's one of those seasons that you just don't want to see end. And the Cubs are trying to hold up their part. They have a tie right now, trying to go ahead by a half game and take this miraculous, magical year into the postseason.
So De Los Santos continues his warm-ups. For Milwaukee, the big story, Sammy Sosa was 0 for 21. He walked his first 2 times up today. The Cubs had a big 3-0 lead in the 5th inning. 1 out, bases empty. And Sammy hit a 1-0 pitch over the boards in right field, snapping an 0 for 21 slide. It was his 64th home run, and that really got him going. For the next time up in the 6th, he hit one of the hardest balls we have seen him hit this year, straight out over the fence in center field to tie Mark McGwire for the major league lead. Wow. Here's Lance Johnson. Lance has doubled. He's walked. He's lined out to the pitcher, and he's flying to center. A lefty-lefty matchup here for Johnson, who's hitting .280 on the campaign. The delivery. Here's a ball, 1-0.
De Los Santos has given up 4 home runs in just 21 1/3 innings. But in this, his 13th appearance, the ERA pretty good at 2.95. Base runners at the corners.
The 1-0. A chopper is into the seats. Kind of funny, you mentioned Lance using a much heavier bat now. That tells you that his wrist is feeling better. He's much stronger, of course. But late in the season, Steve, a lot of hitters go to lighter bats because they're so weary at the end of the year.
And don't forget that Lance has not had a full year, just 285 at bats, and that's for him about a half a season.
2 balls and a strike. Well, he'll have another year left on his contract for 1999. This is a man that has led both leagues in hits before. I don't think that's ever been done before. So Johnson with a full season in 1999, certainly looking for loftier totals than what he's been able to put together here in 98. The 2-1 is upstairs. 3 balls and a strike. We have an off day tomorrow. We'll be in Houston. Then Friday, 7 o'clock, Kevin Tampany against Jose Lima. Then after that, we will see the 3-1. 3-2. The news encouraging about Caray Wood. He said his arm felt great. He threw all of his pitches. He threw them all effectively. Now the decision becomes that of the manager, Jim Riggleman, and the Cubs front office. The runner at first goes. The 3-2 foul back. And the decision, of course, is whether or not to pitch Caray Wood in what could be the most important ball game of the year sometime in Houston. He has not pitched in about a month. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out. The pitch swung on, hit into the air to right center field. Grissom on the run. He's under it. He has it. And the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left. 7th inning stretch time in Milwaukee. It's all Cubs. 7-0.
With days scheduled down to the minute, no one has time to wait for prescription refills. But with Walgreens' new 24-hour touch-tone pre-fill system, your refills are pre-filled. Just dial the number on your prescription bottle and set your pickup time, and keep your day right on schedule.
Your prescription will be ready at 6:45.
Refills that are ready when you are, only at Walgreens.
Want to color your gray beard or mustache and look natural? Get Just for Men Gel.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men Gel.
Brush in and in 5 minutes, gray is gone.
No one can tell with Just for Men Gel.
Pain keeping you awake? Now the effervescent power of new Alka-Seltzer PM gives you complete relief. Alka-Seltzer Speed plus a gentle sleep aid. The 100% solution to nighttime pain. New Alka-Seltzer PM. Sleep well.
I'll take it.
Feel like you're in heaven now. Get a cashback bonus award later. Hallelujah. Discover the feeling. It pays.
Nobody does it like you.
A revolving brush or 5 rotating brushes, a manual hand tool or 1 powered with 2 more brushes. The choice is easy.
Nobody.
Steam Vac Ultra.
Does it like you?
Manny Alexander stays in the game for the Cubs. He'll play shortstop. Jose moves from short to third base. And there you see the defensive change for the Cubs. And Steve Trachsel goes back to work in the bottom of the 7th inning. He has a 2-hit shutout working through 6. And he'll face the middle of the Milwaukee order here.
And the big difference today for Steve Trachsel, unlike the last start, he's been ahead of just about all of the Brewer hitters. He's thrown strike one quite a bit, and he's gotten everything over the plate. He's hit his spots, he's moved the ball in and out, up and down, and he's been in control from the 1st inning on.
And isn't it funny, for those of us who don't understand pitching like you do, how that feel is so fleeting? It comes and goes. Steve couldn't get the ball over the plate if he prayed for it, if he tried. In his last start today, he's been strike 1, strike 2 on everybody.
Some days you just feel a little bit better. You have better rhythm. He had good rhythm right from the opening inning, where he went 1, 2, 3 with Vina, Loretta, and Cirillo. Some pretty good hitters.
Well, Loretta, the last man to reach. That was with a single in the 3rd inning. Now it's Jeremy Burnitz. Steve Trachsel's gotten this guy out with forkballs in the dirt. He struck out twice. Once looking, once swinging. No balls and a strike. 7-0 Cubs. Breaking ball. And quickly 0-2. And folks, don't forget, we will be sticking with it here on WGN at the end of our ball game. We will carry Sammy Sosa's press conference for you live from County Stadium. We'll also, I'm sure, talk with Steve Trachsel, I would imagine, probably Jim Riggleman down in the catacombs of the stadium. So you'll want to stay tuned to see Sammy's reaction to his monumental day today, the 0-2. That just missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You got Burnitz once on a fastball inside, the second time on a forkball swinging, and it's a good time for another forkball here down.
1-2. It was down, and he just got a piece. Boy, fans emailing in, Steve, just their amazement at Sammy Sosa. And big Cub fan Greg Costa out in Los Angeles said he agrees with you. He doesn't want this season to end. He writes, a new level of reassurance as to why fans everywhere love the game of baseball, with what that man has done, with what Mark McGwire has done, what Ken Griffey Jr. has done for Seattle. Boy, what a magical time to be a baseball fan and to be a part of this great game of ours. It is incredible.
And of course, a wild card race in the National League has been certainly as hotly contested for the last 7 weeks as you could possibly imagine, with the 1-game difference between the Mets and the Cubs leapfrogging one another. Neither team able to pull away or put any daylight between themselves and the other ball club, and that makes for just a great race.
1 ball, 2 strikes. A little pop into shallow right. Mickey going out, still going, can't get there. Burnitz dunks a soft single leading off the 7th inning. That's the first base hit for Milwaukee since the 3rd inning.
Burnitz doesn't get a whole lot of it. It's a fastball, and he gets it off the end of the bat, but he gets it just far enough. Mickey can't get to it, and Burnitz is aboard.
For Marquise Grissom, who has doubled and has grounded out to the shortstop. Our senior producer director of Cubs baseball is Arnie Harris. Today's game produced by John Walgren. Our field producer is the commander, Pete Toma. Our associate producers, Mark Brady. Kim Fields is our coordinating producer, and the executive producer of WGN Sports is Bob Vorwald. And that's fouled away by Grissom. 0-1. Montreal at New York later on. One other game of wild card implication. Pirates lead the Giants 1-0 in the 4th inning out in San Francisco. The Giants 2.5 games back in the wild card, and only 2 back in the loss column. The 0-1 popped him up. Grace a long run though. Can he get there in time? No. It'll skip into the seats, and Grissom down 2 strikes. 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Cubs. 0-3-1 for Milwaukee. Trachsel a 3-hit, blanking of Milwaukee. And Sammy 2 home runs today. No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch is high. The McGill family here in Milwaukee wants to send along their greetings to Betty McGill. Bob, Julie, and Amber McGill say hello to Betty, watching the game down in Ellenton, Florida. She never misses a Cubs broadcast. So Betty, hope you're enjoying a great Cubs game in Milwaukee today. The 1-2 to Marquise evens the count at 2-2. Bit of a chill in the afternoon now as we move toward the 3:30 mark. Here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the 2-2 is in the dirt. 3 balls, 2 strikes. No activity in the Cub pen. Trachsel has the big lead. He's only walked 1 man. He's given up just 3 base hits.
Steve does have 1 complete game this year. The entire Cubs staff with 7. The entire Brewers staff with just 2 complete games all year long. And that will put a little strain on your pen.
3-2. The runner doesn't go. The pitch lined into right field for a base hit. So Grissom singles. 2 are on. None is out. And here's the left fielder, Jeff Jenkins.
It's really just the 2nd time today that Steve Trachsel has had any problems. He got Cirillo on a 3-0 pitch with runners at 2nd and 3rd in the 3rd inning. Pitched himself out of a jam there and trying to do the same thing here.
And by the way, Stoney, one more note on that Sosa home run. That was the 209th hit by the Cubs this year. That ties their franchise single season record. Amazing.
And who will set the record? Maybe Sammy next inning.
I was going to say, if it was an opportunity to bet the mortgage, I would say my chips would be on the Cubs right fielder. Then again, you can't count out Mickey Boom Boom Morandini either. He's got tremendous pop.
And one big difference: when that record was set in 1987, the Cubs finished last. In '98, they will finish well above that.
2 balls, no strikes. Now the Cub bullpen starts to get busy. The same for Milwaukee as we move toward the bottom of their order. And Phil Regan on his way out to talk with Steve.
Phil's been relatively quiet in this series, with Terry Mulholland going 8 innings yesterday and really in very little trouble at all, limiting them to just 6 singles. The bullpen wasn't doing much, and Steve Trachsel has been in control, and the bullpen hasn't done much here today.
Well, he was wasting away down to nothing practically in Chicago with Cincinnati in town. And this a very, well, tattooed list of pitchers in the National League.
Well, they gave up the home runs to the 2 guys with 65. There's no shame there because there's a lot of other names on that list. And you've got Jose Lima, and he will be the man who will face Sammy on Friday night as he goes against Kevin Tapani.
2-0 to Jenkins. He is outside. 3-0. It's 7-0, but Milwaukee can get back in things pretty quickly if somebody pops one here in their half of the 7th. Jenkins is 0 for 2 on the day. 3-0. Right through there, 3 balls and a strike.
Karshner and Heredia throwing in the pen.
Three balls, 1 strike. The pitch. Lined out of play. Steve's battled back to make it a full count, 3-2.
Nothing, a little ground ball here wouldn't help. Jenkins has grounded into 5 of them this year. Actually make that 7. And of course Trachsel would like to make it 8. He's thrown a few more ground balls today than he normally does. And one here would be welcome.
Three-two. He lost him. Bases loaded now for Milwaukee, and there's nobody out. Jenkins at first, Grissom to second, Burnett's to third.
Well, in a situation where Milwaukee was a little closer, you're probably not going to see Trachsel against Valentin from the left side. You would see Heredia and they turn around Valentin from the right side. But you have a 7-run lead. And so for the moment, Jim Riggleman is going to let Steve Trachsel try to extricate himself from this very dangerous situation here in the Brewer half of the 7th inning.
The Cubs at normal depth, they'll concede a run to get a ground ball and a double play chance here. The pitch is a strike. It gets ahead of Valentin. It's 0-1. The Brewers have loaded the bases. Trachsel has surrendered just 4 hits today. Milwaukee's left 3 on base. Here at County Stadium, Cubs have a big 7-0 lead. The pitch in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. The catcher Bobby Hughes waiting on deck. Trachsel taking his time now. 1-1 to the Brewers shortstop. Here it is. He missed low again. 2 balls and a strike.
If you do go to a fastball here to Valentin, make sure it's away. You want him to try to pull it, which he will from the left side, and that's how you get your ground ball to the right side.
The 2-1 pitch. Here it is. Pulled down the line, fair. 1 run scores. Grissom rounds third. He's going to make it. Jenkins will stop at third. It's a double and still nobody out. The ball gets away from Grace for a moment. No further advance, and the Brewers have scored 2.
RBIs 47 and 48 for Valentin, and he did pull the ball, but unfortunately he pulled it right down the line. So Trachsel got this one out over the plate, and Valentin gets out ahead of it, takes it by a diving Mark Grace. And for the first time, the Brewers are on the board, but runners at second and third, and now it's a 5-run game.
2 singles, a walk, and now a double by Valentin brings Hughes up. He's 0 for 2. (7-2) Cubs lead. Missed inside. Ball 1. Can't count out these Brewers. We saw what they did to the Cubs pitching staff in Chicago. Trachsel had him shut down through 6, but he's run into 7th inning trouble here. The 1-0. Swung a line hard to left. Hill is there. He's got it. Tagging from third is Jenkins. He will score without a play. It's sacrifice fly, and it's now a 7-3 game, and there's only 1 man out.
RBI number 29 for Bobby Hughes. And now we'll have to see who the pinch hitter will be. Looks like Dave Nielsen will be called on a pinch hit.
And that's exactly who it will be. So Nielsen will come on. This year as a pinch hitter for Milwaukee. Nilsson 3 for 11 overall on the year, 269 with 12 homers and 56 batted in. So the Cubs sticking with Trachsel here. Runner at second, 1 out, 3 runs in. It's a 7-3 Cub advantage.
Nilsson's going back to the dugout. Maybe he grabbed the wrong bat.
The Brewers have had a little trouble with their pinch hitters in this game. Marcus Jensen, it took a long time for him to be announced. Nilsson was announced, I believe, and now he's been called back.
First time I've seen a pinch hitter announced walk up there, no pitching change. And then they change hitters. It's kind of an unusual move by Phil Garner. And it's Brian Banks. So you lose Nilsson and use Banks without any pitching changes at all.
I don't think I've ever seen that. So the Brewers waste a pinch hitter for no apparent reason. They bring on Banks for Nilsson.
And Banks came through with a pinch hit last night, got a first ball fastball down and out over the plate. And he drove it into right field. And that coming in the 9th inning against Rod Beck.
Well, I imagine Garner sent Nilsson up hoping to get Trachsel out of the game and get Heredia in. Then he would have brought in Banks to face the left-hander. That didn't work out. So now he brings Banks in the same situation. Trachsel in the game, however, and he misses outside with a ball. 1-0.
Banks is a switch hitter, but he's a little better hitter from the left side.
Still don't know why he didn't just send him up there in the first place.
Well, most unusual move by old Scrap Iron.
1 ball, no strikes. Runner at second, 1 away, and that's right through there. Good pitch. Count evens 1-1. Banks hitting in the number 9 spot for Milwaukee. Scrappy Fernando Vina is waiting on deck. What was a 7-0 Cub runaway has suddenly gotten a little tighter. It's 7-3. We're in the 7th. 1 ball, 1 strike. Outside, 2-1. The Cubs need Trachsel to get through this 7th inning.
Looking ahead to the Cub 8th, it's Hernandez, Grace, and Sammy Sosa.
So don't go anywhere, folks. A lot of excitement left here at County Stadium. Valentin at second, the 2-1 is low and away. 3 balls and a strike. Now you're getting to a point, Stoney, where you can't afford to be much more patient much longer.
No, if you don't get Banks, then you got to believe it'll be Heredia against Vina.
3 balls, 1 strike. Trachsel was cruising right along. He set down 10 in a row. He's given up 3 hits, a walk, and 3 runs here in the 7th. The pitch. Line drive down the right field line, but he hooked it foul. And the count moves full now, 3-2. If ever Steve needed a strikeout, this would be the spot for it. Three balls, 2 strikes. Banks ready. The pitch from Steve. Bouncing, or a line drive, I should say, right up the middle, base hit. Lance Johnson will not have a play. Got to get him out of there now at 7-4. He has totally lost it here in the 7th inning.
Banks comes through with his 2nd pinch hit in as many days, driving home run number 5. All 5 is a pinch hitter, so that will indeed be it. And Steve Trachsel will depart. He was not able to survive the 7th inning. And he'll leave with 1 out and Banks at first.
So Milwaukee has scored 4 times. It was 7-0 at the 7th inning stretch, but Steve Trachsel's given up 4 runs, 4 hits and a walk here in the 7th. He leaves with a runner at first And one man out. He does qualify for the win, but the Cubs pen will have to nail it down for him here at County Stadium.
You guys are in here again? I can't believe this. You're always in here nursing your injuries. I have never seen such a group of cream puffs in my life. This is football. I need guys that can play.
Man, I thought he'd never leave.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
Hot dog, anyone?
I'll take it.
Feel like you're in heaven now. Get a cashback bonus award later. Hallelujah. Discover the feeling. It pays.
Felix Heredia takes over for the Cubs. 1 on, 1 out, 4 in the Milwaukee 7th inning, and Stoney a tough assignment. 1, 2, and 3 in the Brewers batting order.
Felix on for the 70th time combined between the Marlins and the Cubs. A 3-3 record, a 5.09 ERA. And you're going to have to watch the bunt from Vigna. They need base runners. And you've got a new third baseman in Jose Hernandez, who shifted over when Manny Alexander pinch ran for Gary Gaiety, so he'll have to play tight, and Mark Grace will have to hold Banks at first.
So Trachsel 101 pitches in 6 innings and a third, 6 hits, 4 runs so far. The man at first is his responsibility. He walked a couple of men and struck out 5 in the game. So it's Heredia against Vigna now. Vigna today 0 for 2 with a walk. He's 0 for 6 in the series. And the first pitch misses outside. When you work with the top of the order, you think about Cirillo and Burnitz. Another huge crowd in Milwaukee today. The stretch, the 1-0. Bad miss. Come on, Felix. 2-0.
If you don't get him, you're going to have to go to the right-hander against Loretta and Cirillo. But bear in mind, they've got Bob Hamlin on the bench, and he's got 4 pinch home runs this year. So with expanded rosters, there's still a lot of thunder on that bench for Phil Garner.
Game getting a little too close for comfort here. 2 balls, no strikes. That's right through there. 2-1. It's Vigna against Heredia. How about a ground ball double play right here? Over 97,000 came to see the 2-game series between the Cubs and Brewers. 45,338 today. The stretch now, the 2-1 to Vigna. Line drive into left field. Base hit. The tying run's coming to the plate. First batter faced. Heredia gives up a single to left.
Well, I know you got Burnitz in the 4 spot, but you can't allow Heredia to face Loretta and Cirillo, not as the tying runs. So I think that will probably be it for Felix, who does not get the job done, and in comes Matt Karshner.
So Heredia doesn't get the job done. He faces one man. He gets a hit, and it's Karshner against Loretta, and he represents what could be the tying run.
Dig the hole, dig the hole, dig the hole.
Catch the tail, catch the tail, catch the tail.
Bite the leg, bite the leg, bite the leg.
Take a lesson from the dog. Focus on the simple things and you'll be happy.
Find a fare, find a fare, find a fare.
Now you have the freedom to fly Southwest from Chicago Midway to St. Louis for $30. But hurry, must purchase by October 12th.
Find a phone, find a phone.
3 sisters,
You saw that, right?
complete strangers, until their mother's secret bonds them forever.
Just once, can't you trust me? You turned me into a witch.
Their mother always told them they were special. Shannon Doherty, Holly Marie Combs, and Alyssa Milano. Charmed.
Premiering Wednesday, October 7th on WGN.
The elusive art of pitching. Steve Trachsel was cruising right along through 6. He had set down 10 in a row. And then the wheels absolutely fell off the wagon here in the 7th inning. He's given up 4 runs. He departs. Heredia left after giving up a hit. Now Matt Karchner facing Loretta, who represents the potential tying run. What was a 7-0 Cub game is now in jeopardy.
Matt Karchner at 3-1, ERA 5.26, on for the 27th time as a Cub. And he inherits base runners at first and second. He has faced Loretta. And Loretta 1 for 2 with a home run against him. And he has faced Cirillo. He's 2 for 6 against him. And that's the man in the on-deck circle. And you don't want to even think about having this inning progress to Jeremy Burnitz, who led everything off with a little soft blooping base hit what seemed like hours ago.
What an agonizing bottom half of the 7th. So here's Loretta. Karch, if you ever had a ground ball double play in your repertoire, this would be a pretty good option to use right now. A high fly ball hit to right. Sammy drifts back. He's going to make the grab. There's the second out. And maybe a break right there as Loretta swings at the first ball and flies to right for out number 2. And now it's Cirillo against Karchner. And he's the 9th man to bat in the inning.
Well, you've got Haney loosening up in the bullpen, and you figure if you don't get Cirillo, we'll probably see Haney against Burnitz. Runners at the corners now with Cirillo representing the tying run. And this is probably their best clutch hitter.
He's 0 for 3 today, 0 for 7 in the series, including a strikeout today. And now the Cubs want Mark Grace to hold Vigna over at first. He had a huge lead. 7-4, Cubs have the advantage. 4 runs have come home for Milwaukee here.
And Karchner must use a slide step because Vigna will take off if he uses that high leg kick.
The high leg kick and almost to the screen. 1 ball, no strikes. One ball, no strikes. Two on, 2 out. 7-4 Cubs. The pitch. Line down the right field line and on a play. Not a bad idea from Jeff Cirillo. It's 1-1. Banks leads at third. Vigna at first. The 1-1. Outside again. 2 balls and a strike. The Cubs trying to find somebody, anybody with some kind of consistency out of that bullpen. It looked like today we wouldn't have had to open up that can of worms. But Trachsel ran out of gas in the 7th. Heredia and now Karchner try to subdue the Brewers. The 2-1. It's 2-2. May have swung at ball 3 there.
We'd like to see this particular bat end at 2-2 because you don't want to give Vigna a running start. It's pretty easy to score from first on a double if you're going with the pitch. He'll probably not be going with the pitch on a 2-2 count.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Cirillo. A 7-4 game. Karchner has him at the corners. 2-2, 2 out, and now time. The pitch. He missed with it, and the count is full. 3-2.
If they're going to stay away from Cirillo, and it looks like they're going to do that, they want Sammy to move over a little bit closer to that line in right field, because a double down that line scores Vigna from first.
He's got a big lead at first. Grace will back up. And time again is called. Service will head to the mound to try to get himself straightened out. And Karchner as well. 7-4 game. Sammy Sosa's hit a couple of home runs. The Cubs were cruising right along. Steve Trachsel had the 7-0 lead. Could not get out of the inning. And now Karchner, the third Cub pitcher here in the 7th, trying to protect a 7-4 lead. Jeff Cirillo, a 3-2 count. The stretch, the runners lead. There goes Vina, the pitch swung on, hit high in the air to center. Lance ought to catch it. He's under it. He's got it. The inning mercifully is over. 4-run score in the 7th. On to the 8th we go. Sammy Sosa is due up third, and the Cubs lead trimmed to 7-4.
Dawson's Creek moves to a new night.
Dawson's Creek moves to Wednesday.
A special event featuring 2 of the most watched episodes from the premiere season of Dawson's Creek.
Oh my God!
And previews from all new episodes that begin October 7th.
I would really like to hold your hand.
Dawson's Creek moves to Wednesdays.
A new night on the WB.
Tonight at 7 on WGN.
They come from all over for the most agonizing test of endurance motorsports has to offer. The heavyweight championship of off-road racing, the legendary Baja 1000. Mile after mile of unforgiving terrain that can send even the toughest truck to an early grave, which means it can really be murder on a battery. That's why more drivers who tackle the Baja rely on the Duralast battery than any other. The same Duralast we stock at AutoZone. The Duralast battery, power you can depend on.
When I put down Scott's Winterizer in the fall, it allows us to develop a good, strong root base. You get a real early greening. People will stop by and say, how'd you do that? Scott's Winterizer gives the grass a kickstart in the fall and makes it really look great in the spring.
That looks tasty.
It's a Big King. I got this one for free.
Gonna eat them both?
Not if you let me play baseball.
Baseball? Son, I coach. What position?
Shortstop. No, second base. And I want a bat, too.
Welcome aboard, slugger.
The flame-broiled Big King. It's like a Big Mac, but tastes better with 75% more beef. Buy one now, say it just tastes better, and get a second one free.
How'd you boys like to play ice hockey?
If you ask us, it just tastes better.
Well, Milwaukee's made a ball game of it with a 4-run uprising in the 7th. 7-4 as we head to the 8th inning. Hernandez, Grace, and Sammy Sosa will bat against right-hander Eric Plunk.
Plunk at 1-2, ERA .394 on for the 25th time. Control at times has been a problem. The big right-hander throws awfully hard, and he came over from the Cleveland Indians in exchange for Doug Jones. So what was a very comfortable 7-run lead is now down to 3 as the Cubs look for some insurance here in their half of the 8th inning.
And don't forget, folks, win or lose at the end of this ball game, we will carry Sammy Sosa's press conference live right here on WGN as he addresses the media from County Stadium in Milwaukee. But first things first, let's hope it's after a Cubs victory today as we approach the 4 o'clock hour in the Central Time Zone. Sosa will hit third. First it's Hernandez, then it's Grace, and a couple of runs would be nice here. And Jose swings at the first ball and hits it a mile high into straightaway center field. Marquise Grissom trots over now to right center and puts it away. 1 pitch, 1 out. Mark Grace will be the batter. He's 1 for 4. And let's take a look at our ComEd Power Profile.
The ComEd Power Profile is the prodigious season of Sammy Sosa. The batting average, the home runs, the runs batted in, and the runs scored. Maybe the likes of which you'll never see again. So Sammy Sosa, our ComEd Power Profile.
Ball 1 to Mark Grace. Plunk works off the stretch exclusively, and the big right-hander brings it up there, and Grace hits it high up there, deep toward right. Odd playable for Burnitz, now in a couple of steps. 2 flyouts. And here is the second home run from Sammy Sosa, folks, and this was a rocket.
Henderson threw a fastball right down the middle, and Sammy hit a bullet right over the head of Marquise Grissom, and there was no doubt about that. And listen to the hand he gets from the crowd.
I'm just glad Bob Davidson wasn't here, because that might have been ruled a double. The ball did bounce back on the field. But there was no doubt about it. It was a bomb. Sosa 2 out of 2 with 2 homers. He has 65 now. And remember, he got Plunk in Chicago. The right-hander sets the pitch. Breaking ball. Good idea. He swung and missed it 0-1.
Yeah, he took a look at the Henderson fastball and where it wound up and decided that, discretion being the better part of valor, he would go to the curveball on the first pitch.
Who will have the lead at the end of today? Mark McGwire will face Randy Johnson a bit later on in St. Louis. No balls and a strike to Sammy. They are roaring in Milwaukee. Plunk to the belt now, the 0-1. Another breaking ball. He swung through it 0-2. So Sammy has to protect the plate. Two outs in the top of the 8th. Cubs with a 3-run lead. The stretch, the pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Sammy wants Jerry Davis to take a look at the baseball. It was indeed scuffed up, so it will leave play. Well, he's thrown a curveball by him and a fastball by him, and Plunk's best pitch is a fastball. I'm thinking he's going to throw it right in on his hands and try to throw it by him for strike 3.
1-2. Here it comes. 2 balls, 2 strikes. What will he bring to the dish here? We'll find out. The 2-2 to Sammy. It's inside. 3-2. 2 straight fastballs now. What does Hughes and Plunk?
We'll look in at Bobby Hughes as he hangs the curveball. Let's see if Plunk also hangs it.
3-2. Over his head. 3rd walk of the day for Sosa. The crowd boos. They wanted Sammy to reach for the fences one more time.
Well, he scored 3. He's been walked 3 times and hit 2 home runs. So he goes to the curveball, and this one just spins high over his head.
Well, he hung it.
He did.
You have to be Wilt Chamberlain to hit that ball.
It's like Clint Eastwood. Hang him high.
So runner at first now. 2 outs for Hill. He looks for his first hit on the day. Cubs need a couple of insurance runs. It's a 3-run ball game, and if you look ahead to the 8th inning for Milwaukee, Pernitz, Grissom, and Jenkins are due.
Now, Hughes doesn't throw very well. The combination of Plunk and Hughes should be easy to run on, and this should be a running situation for Sammy if he chooses to.
Not going there, and Hill rifles it foul straight back.
Cubs have not tried to put any pressure on Bobby Hughes, because quite frankly they haven't had to. This might be a situation where you're thinking about turning Sammy loose.
Sosa with 17 stolen bases on the year. He'd love to get in scoring position for Hill. He was leading, and he got back on a dive. We are in the top of the 8th. Cubs 7, Milwaukee 4, and there you'll see the lean and the recover.
And Sammy was going.
Another good lead and another lean and another close play. He's back again on a dive, and let's pause for station identification from Milwaukee.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN, Chicago.
No balls and a strike. The runner holds. The pitch again popped up foul and back into the seats. Glen Allen Hill down 2 strikes.
I'd send Sammy 0-2. And if you're scrap iron Phil Garner, this is where you might think of calling a pitch out.
Hey guys, back to work. There's a ballpark to be finished. 0-2. He's not going. The breaking ball grounded to the shortstop. Valentine will flip to Vina in time, and the Cubs' 8th inning is in the books. No runs, no hits, 1 man left. Bottom of the 8th inning rolls around. Burnitz, Grissom, and Jenkins in a 7-4 Cub game.
Over 30 years ago in our laboratories, eye care was revolutionized with the introduction of Visine. Today, our latest advance, an even better Visine. Advanced Relief Visine. Its unique formula gets the red out, plus more. This computer image of an irritated eye simulates how Advanced Relief Visine spreads the cooling, soothing, refreshing relief of 3 moisturizers. Discover how good your eyes can feel. With Advanced Relief Visine, it gets the irritation out.
I think the most important feeding is the one that you start in the fall, so your lawn starts to look healthier in the spring, and consequently you need Scott's Winterizer. When I put down Winterizer in the fall, it allows us to develop a good strong root base, and it allows the lawn to endure the winter weather, and you get a real early greening. This grass is beautiful, thick, deep green. People will stop by and say, "How'd you do that?" Scott's Winterizer gives the grass a kickstart in the fall and makes it really look great in the spring.
When I got rejected from an Eastern college, it hit me big. Was it my SAT scores? My average grade average? My looks? That's history. I just won the Mega $1 Million big game. I hit it big. And I'm giving a chunk of it to my beloved alma mater right here in Illinois.
Something big you'd like to do? Play the Mega $1 Million big game from the Illinois Lottery. You could hit it big.
Oh, to that school back east? We're talking huge chunk.
1-800-CONTACTS. Exact same contact lenses delivered to your door for less than you're paying now. Call 1-800-CONTACTS. Save the trip. Save the money.
Meet Zach and Slater. Make a date with the babes of Bayside High. Catch the next Saved by the Bell.
Weekdays at 4 starting October 5th.
Brant Brown takes over for Glen Allen Hill in left field. And the bottom of the 8th inning rolls around with Jeremy Burnitz leading things off. He started the 4-run party for the Brewers in the 7th with a leadoff single against Steve Trachsel. 7-4 Cubs game in the middle of the Milwaukee order. And it's ball 2. Boy, the Cubs sure would like to see a nice clean 1-2-3 8th inning. Well, you know, the shooter Rod Beck will be coming on in the 9th. It's 2-0 to Burnitz, and he has awesome power. And now it's 3-0.
Normally, this is a situation where you'd use Terry Mulholland to get the ball to Rod Beck. But obviously, after 8 innings yesterday, Terry out of the equation. So the rest of the guys in the pen will have to pick up the slack.
The 3-0. And nowhere near. 4 straight, he walks the leadoff man. Come on, Matt.
For Jim Riggleman, it's never easy. Seemingly a game in the bag with a 7-1 lead, only to see the Brewers score 4 and threatening again here in the 8th.
And Marquise Grissom now standing in. He's 2 out of 3 with a single, a double, and a run scored.
He's grounded into 12 double plays. The 13th would look awfully good.
Let's see if Matt can get a ground ball here. He's given up 2 flyouts in the game, and then of course the walk, and he gets ahead of Grissom, which is always a good idea. San Francisco had the bases loaded in the 5th inning and failed to score at home to the Pirates. It's 1-0 Pittsburgh in the 6th. The 0-1. Line foul 0-2. Again, you got to be wary of the Giants. They are just 2.5 games out of the wild card lead. But they failed, Stoney, to take advantage of that very favorable home schedule. They lost a lot of games that they shouldn't have lost. The 0-2 to Grissom. Little looping fly ball into center. Johnson charging, still coming. He makes the grab. That was close. 1 away.
Unfortunately, that one stayed up long enough. Lance Johnson got a very quick jump on it and was able to run it down. Lance charging hard. As Grissom bidding for a bloop hit and nothing doing.
1 on, 1 out for Jeff Jenkins now. He's 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. 7-4 Cub lead. Trying to sweep Milwaukee. Trying to take a half-game wild card lead with the Mets and Expos later on tonight. The first pitch hits him right on the knee, and he is down. A hit batsman will bring the potential tying run to the plate in the 8th inning again.
This one right on the inside of the left knee, and you can bet that that one hurt. And Jenkins still trying to walk it off. But now you have to face Valentin and Phil Regan coming to the mound and wanting to tell Matt Karshner, with nobody up in the pen, what they want to do with Valentin. Let's do anything but what happened in the 7th inning, a 2-run double.
Well, now they start to scurry out there. Chris Haney, I think, has gotten up, and he'll start to loosen up for the Cubs. A right-hander as well. Rodney Myers was up earlier. It is Myers. So the tying run once again comes to the plate for Milwaukee. It's Valentin. He's hit 15 home runs, all of them from the left side of the plate. Cubs had a 7-0 lead. But the pen making it interesting once again here in Brew City.
It's hard to believe, but Valentin has only grounded into 2 double plays all year. That's in 415 at bats. And as a dead pull hitter, Sammy is shading him well toward the line in right.
2 on, 1 out. Way high. Ball 1.
Now you have Hughes in the on-deck circle, but they've got some pretty good left-hand pinch hitters, and that's why Haney is getting loosened up.
1-0 the count. 2 on, 1 out. Now time call. They've got Hamlin available from the left side still, and that's a knee-high strike to even the count. Well, anything worth having's worth working hard for. The Cubs trying to work hard and get this win in Milwaukee. It's 7-4. 1 ball, 1 strike from Karchner. The set, the pitch. Bouncing ball towards second. Mickey will flip there for 1. High, bad throw. Ricochets off the camera well, and what a huge break that is.
Well, you talk about good breaks. That would have been a run scored, a man at second. Instead, the ball stays in play. The Brewers don't score. And Valentin has to stay at first. So the breaks keep on a-coming.
He threw a boomerang. And look at the ricochet off the camera well. He never touched the second base bag. That's a break. And then the throw wide left.
Well, I'm real surprised that Tom Hallion did not see the play at second base, because Manny hasn't touched that base yet.
So Hamlin will pinch hit here in the 8th.
And I think you got to go bring in Chris Haney to face Hamlin, but we'll see what's on the mind of Jim Riggleman.
Runners at first and third with 2 men out. And Hamlin announced. And he's going to stick with Karchner here. Karchner knows Hamlin from his American League days when Bob played with the Tigers and Kansas City. The pitch is high for a ball. He represents the potential tying run. A lot of second guess opportunities here if this does not work out for the Cubs.
They've only faced one another twice, and Karchner walked him.
1-0 the count. 2 outs. The pitch. Little looping pop toward third. Jose can't get there in time. Count evens 1-1.
Hamlin 4 pinch homers, 6 runs driven in, and 11 pinch hits.
And again, if and when they make a new Babe Ruth story, he's my leading man. Look at him. He looks like the Bambino, doesn't he?
Well, he was a man that went down on strikes to end the ball game last night, courtesy of Rod Beck.
Well, let's see if he can go down quietly here in the 8th. 1-1. The pitch to Bob is outside. 2-1. Aaron Jackson has a bat. He would pinch hit next. Boy, I wish I had antacid stock.
So does Jim Riggleman.
Man, oh man. 2 balls and a strike. Here it comes. Pulled foul. 2-2 now.
Mark Grace is right on that line. He's not going to let anything get between him and the bag.
This bullpen would make Coffey nervous for the Cubs. They've been very, very skittish the last 2 months of the year. They've got the luxury of a 3-run lead, but Hamlin represents the tying run for the Brewers, who trailed 7-0 at one point. The set, the 2-2. He just did get a piece of that pitch. Sammy Sosa's hit 2 home runs today. He's tied Mark McGwire for the Major League lead at 65. More importantly, the Cubs trying to win for the 89th time this year. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. Again, he just did stay alive. Every pitch so very critical. Every play of such magnitude.
And again, it's another situation where you want it to happen on 2-2 instead of 3-2, where Valentin can be off with the pitch.
Again, Karchner comes set. Here comes the 2-2. Bouncing ball. Grace knocked it down. Can't find it. Has chance. No, he doesn't. Hamlin got a big break. A run scores. 7-5. 2 are on. And still 2 out. An infield hit.
Mark Grace goes up just about as high as he can go. It tips off the glove, then he can't locate it. By the time he does, Hamlin with another pinch hit. And that brings the game on the bases to the Brewers. A good effort by Grace, keeping it out of right field. But the Brewers inch a little bit closer. And now Darren Jackson comes on to pinch hit.
Tying runs are aboard. It's 7-5. Milwaukee scored 4 in the 7th, 1 so far here in the 8th. A walk, a hit batsman, and now an infield hit. The Cubs and Brewers just continue to battle. The stretch in the pitch. Good cut, fouled back. Greg Martinez, the pinch runner for Hamlin at first.
Hamlin drives in his 7th run with his 12th hit as a pinch hitter. The outfield has to play a few steps deeper. You have to cut off a ball in the gap.
0-1 the pitch. Swung on, high fly ball, right center field. Johnson on the run. He's got it. And the inning is over. Oh, man. 1 run, 1 hit, 2 men left. Cubs need some insurance. It's 7-5 after 8.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, offering low fares and frequent flights. Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the Chicago Cubs.
Dig the hole, dig the hole, dig the hole. Catch the tail, catch the tail, catch the tail. Like the light, like the light, like the light.
Take a lesson from the dog. Focus on the simple things and you'll be happy.
Find a fare, find a fare, find a fare.
Now you have the freedom to fly Southwest from Chicago Midway to St. Louis for $30. But hurry, must purchase by October 12th.
Find a phone, find a phone.
I'll take it.
like you're in heaven now. Get a cashback bonus award later. Hallelujah. Discover the feeling. It pays.
Hi, I'm Linda Carter, and I'm here to tell you why ordering your contact lenses direct from Lens Express is such a great idea.
We're America's largest contact lens replacement service. Call now for a free catalog and save up to 50% by ordering direct from Lens Express.
And I get the exact lenses my doctor prescribed or my money back. Now that's
what I call service. I couldn't do without
Lens Express.
Call this number now for a free Lens Express catalog.
Welcome to the Tanner Circus of Fun. See the clowns in action.
Pretty cool, huh?
On Full House.
Weekdays at 5, starting October 5th.
New battery for Milwaukee. Mike Matheny takes over behind the plate. And right-hander Chad Fox becomes the 6th Milwaukee pitcher on the day.
Fox on for the 47th time, an 0-3 record, a 3.79 ERA. His control has been very good. And the Cubs do have the 2-run lead, looking for more.
Here's our Ameritech playbook from Milwaukee.
Bob Hamlin bounces this ball, and Mark Grace goes up as high as he possibly can. He keeps it out of right field, but the Brewers get that much closer, and that is your Ameritech playbook.
So we need some insurance now. It's 7-5. Milwaukee with 5 unanswered runs. They will have the top of their order due up in the bottom of the 9th inning. As Manny Alexander bats for the first time today, he's a .229 hitter. And the shooter, Rod Beck, will be the man that gets the call. He'll seek save number 50 for the Cubs. 1-1. The pitch. Breaking ball, pulled just foul. Joe Carter just hit a 3-run homer for the Giants. They now take a 3-1 lead over Pittsburgh. That game is in the 6th inning in San Francisco. And Manny broke his back. Count of 1-2. Again, as we touched on it earlier, Manny and so many other of the Cubs players from the Caribbean islands want to send along their best wishes to friends and family and their fellow countrymen as Hurricane George continues to wreak havoc. And we echo those sentiments and hope that everyone's safe and sound down there. The 1-2 pitch. He swung at a ball in his eyes. Ground ball to first. Fox gets over to first in time, and there's one away. 1 out, base is empty. Mickey Morandini, the Cub hitter.
Good play by Loretta to get Fox the ball very quickly as Manny was hustling down the line, but Fox beat him by a step.
Big crowd today of over 45,000. Most of them hoping the Cubs can hang on today. It was a 7-0 ball game. It's now 7-5. Morandini with a base hit, 2-run scored today.
This Brewer team averaged for the season a little over 22,000 fans a game. But the last homestand, which featured Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, drew 252,000 people. They averaged over 50,000 for 5 games to see Big Mac and Sammy. And they saw 65 hit by both.
Morandini fouls it to our left. It's 1-2. I guess they're happy they moved to the National League this year. That kind of attendance. Not happy with what McGwire and Sosa have done to their pitching staffs, but I sure like how they've worn out the turnstiles here. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Morandini. We're in the 9th inning. Cubs up 7-5, bases clear. And Mickey strikes out for out number 2. This kid Fox has a pretty good arm. 2 up, 2 down. Here's a look.
It's a pretty good slider. And Mickey Morandini down on strikes.
Rod Beck will come on for the bottom of the 9th inning.
Vigna, Loretta, and Cirillo if anybody gets on Burnett.
That is no easy assignment. Ball 1 to Service. And Scott wants to take a look at the ball, I think. Nope, they say 2-0. I guess the pitcher went to his mouth while standing on the mound. So the count is 2-0. That's a no-no.
Got Orlando Merced in the on-deck circle. He'll come on to pinch hit if Scott can keep it alive.
Boy, what a big home run he hit against these guys in Chicago. Game-winning 3-run blast. Service rockets into right field. Will they cut it off? Yes, they will. Scott, big turn, but he'll head back to first with a 2-out base hit, and they will give Merced a chance to repeat his big 9th-inning feat. So Service a 2-hit game. And it's Merced for Karchner.
And with a left-handed starter today, both of the hits by Scott Service came off right-handed relievers. So Orlando comes on hitting .375, 3 for 7, a homer, and 4 driven in as a pinch hitter.
Not too shabby. The pitch is a fastball steal, right call. Shadows making things a little tough. Most of the diamond bathed in shadows except for the batter's box. A little peak of sunshine for the hitters. The 0-1, here it comes. Breaking ball, hammered foul. 0-2. Rod Beck continues to warm up on what's turned into a chilly day now in Milwaukee. The 0-2 pitch. Here it comes. It's high, 1-2. There's a live shot of the conference room here in Milwaukee. We will be there for all of the post game words of wisdom from today's participants. Of course, Sammy Sosa will address the media too, and we'll have it live. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Struck him out, inning over. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. On comes Rod Beck, trying to become the 5th pitcher in baseball history with 50 saves or more. The Cubs have a 2-run lead in the 9th.
Sometimes it's the smallest decisions that could change your life forever.
Sometimes you don't know you have a choice
I know you want me to follow in your footsteps, but I just can't.
until you make one.
What are you doing here? This is where I'm going.
That is so unbelievable.
Freedom comes when you learn to let go. Creation comes when you learn to say no.
Do you think that my coming here was a bad idea, too?
Felicity.
Premiering Tuesday night at 8 on WGN.
Because of our passion for design and engineering, our vehicles speak for themselves. And recently, others have had some great things to say about our quality, too. Sebring Convertible, Total Quality Award. Town & Country, Total Quality Award. Cirrus, Best in Class and Initial Quality by J.D. Power & Associates. Concord, Best in Class and Initial Quality by J.D. Power & Associates. Chrysler, engineered to be great cars.
Join Cubs players, coaches, and broadcasters for the 14th Annual Cubs Convention, January 15th through the 17th at the Chicago Hilton and Towers, sponsored by Pepsi-Cola. Enjoy autograph and photo sessions, hitting and pitching clinics, special events just for kids, and much more. It's the greatest off-season event in all of baseball. For more information, call the Cubs Convention hotline at 773-404-CUBS, or to reserve your room at the Hilton, call 312-922-4400.
Well, that's a pleasant thought. Hopefully that'll be the case here in 1998. The World Series part, that is. Rod Beck's had a huge hand in the Cubs' success this year. He has saved 49 of the Cubs' 88 victories this year, and he tries to become the 5th man in Major League history with 50 saves, with 1 today in Milwaukee.
Shooter on for the 78th time. The ERA at 2.99, the record at 3-2. And it's not going to be easy, because he goes right at the top of the order. Vina, Loretta, Cirillo, if anybody gets on, Jeremy Burnitz. And yesterday, Rod came in for an inning of sharpening up. He gave up a home run, 3 hits, but the Cubs went on to win it. And there is the broom in this abbreviated 2-game series. And Sammy will have had a big hand in this one with the 2 home runs, because those 2 home runs are the difference.
Yes, they
as
are.
It stands at 7-5.
Yes, they are, my friend. And one has to worry about that home run that you touched upon that Rod Beck gave up. That was to Jeremy Burnitz last night in the 9th inning. And Burnitz again would hit 4th in this inning if Vigna, Loretta, Cirillo could get aboard. Cubs 7, Brewers 5. The Cubs had a 7-run lead before Steve Trachsel ran out of gas in the 7th inning. He gave up 4. Karchner gave up 1 in an inning and 2/3. So it's Beck against Vigna in the 9th. First pitch swinging, ground ball second. How about that? 1 pitch, 1 out.
Well, when you need base runners, it's hard to believe that you'd be up there swinging at the first pitch, but that's what Fernando Vigna decided to do, and Rod Beck most appreciative of this one. A little chopper right at Mickey Morandini. The Cubs 2 outs away, and Rod Beck 2 outs away from save number 50. The Cubs would have a half-game lead in the wild card race.
With the Mets hosting Montreal later on tonight, Jones against Pavano. This guy has been a burr under our saddle all year long. Mark Loretta 1 for 4 today. He's hitting over 400 against Cub pitching this season. And again, he would love to get aboard for Cirillo and or Burnitz. And knuckleheads running all over the field in center field here in Milwaukee. We're not going to show them, but that's the reason for the delay here. And since this used to be one of the homes of the Green Bay Packers.
Yes, where's Herb Adderley when we need him?
That would be nice. Or Reggie White. So the morons obviously out here in Milwaukee. And it takes Rod Beck right out of his flow. So they'll escort these Nimrods to the local Hoosgow, and we'll get back to business here. The bases are clear. There's 1 man out. We're in the 9th. The Cubs enjoying a 7-5 lead. And hopefully the New Yorkers watching the game at Shea Stadium in New York on the Diamond Vision are looking on at what has been a wacky ball game. Sammy Sosa has hit a couple of home runs. That will be the big headline tomorrow. Mark McGwire will take dead aim at Randy Johnson tonight in St. Louis.
He's hit a couple of home runs against Randy Johnson, including a titanic shot in the Kingdome, 530 some odd feet.
And here they are in the 5th inning. This was the one that I was most impressed with, only because he finally hit the ball to right field.
Well, he also broke an 0 for 21, and that was number 64. But in the 6th, he got one out over the plate and just crushed it to straightaway center field. It was a rocket shot over the head of Marquise Grissom.
And man, these homer happy fans in Milwaukee certainly have gotten their money's worth. With Mark McGwire coming to town, with Sammy Sosa coming to town. Sosa with 12 homers this year against Brewer pitching. Now one of the local gendarmes trying to find his or her way to the outfield bullpen. They've made it. They shut the fence, and now we're back to work. 1 ball, no strikes to Loretta. He's 1 for 4 today. Cubs 2 outs away from a win in Brew City. The pitch upstairs for ball 2. Rod Beck with that right arm, a dangling, goes back to work. Line drive, base hit. Tying run will come to the plate.
I'm going to be real happy when we don't have to look at Mark Loretta anymore. That young man is a real good hitter. And now it brings the tying run to the plate. But Cirillo has a propensity to hit into double plays.
Well, let's hope he propensities are a little more right here.
24 of them this year. And if you can get the double play, then you don't have to face the very dangerous man on deck, Jeremy Burnitz.
That's got to lead the National League, doesn't it?
If not, it's right up there.
Well, he and Vinny Castilla share that dubious honor, both with 24. Beck misses low, ball one.
Not a bad idea from Cirillo. He saw Jose Hernandez back at third. He was thinking about trying to bunt his way on, which would have ensured Burnitz would come to bat.
Well, that's what Milwaukee wants. They want Burnitz in the batter's box here in the 9th inning. He homered off Beck last night. The pitch. Uh-oh, it's high. 2-0. Beck trying to join Eckersley, Randy Myers, Bobby Thigpen, and Trevor Hoffman is the only man with 50 saves or more in a single year. How about a ground ball double play right here? The 2-0. Fastball took it, strike one. (7-5). 1 on, 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning in Milwaukee. Beck comes set, the 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2-2. Boy, he really fooled him with that delivery. One thing about Rod Beck, it may not always look pretty, but this guy has unbelievable composure.
There's the commissioner of baseball, Bud Selig. And he saw up close and personal Sammy Sosa tie Mark McGwire, hitting 2 home runs today.
We may have to take Bud to Houston with us. He's been a good luck charm for Sammy. The 2-2 pitch won't be made. Sammy's hit 12 home runs against the Milwaukee team this year. And although Bud's put his shares in the Brewers into trust, he still has the connection. The 2-2. Swung line left field, base hit. Loretta around second. He's on his way to third. Brown barehands it. It's a double, tying runs in scoring position for Burnitz.
Jeff Cirillo with his first hit of the day. And it's an off-speed pitch. He takes it right down the line. And now Jim Riggleman will go to the mound to talk with Rod Beck about how they want to approach this Burnitz at bat. Brown does a nice job of getting to the ball quickly, making sure Loretta can't score. He is held at third. There's no sense risking being thrown out at the plate. Not when the winning run is standing there in the person of the biggest left-handed run producer in our league, Jeremy Burnitz. Now you have first base open, but Burnitz represents the winning run.
So we'll see how the shooter approaches Burnitz here, who, as Steve mentioned, has had a monster year. 38 home runs, 124 batted in. Burnitz homered against Beck last night.
They're going to walk him. They're going to walk the winning run on base with 1 out to face Marquise Grissom.
Wow.
The fans here booing the decision, but you set up the double play possibility. And if you're going to manage in this league, you're going to have to make some real difficult decisions, and this was a difficult decision for Jim Riggleman.
Well, last night Grissom faced Beck. Last night Grissom singled against Beck. So the bases are loaded in the bottom of the 9th inning. It's Beck versus Grissom in the 9th. Cirillo represents the game tying run. Burnitz the game winning run.
Only 1 out, and Marquise Grissom, despite his very good speed, has grounded into 12 double plays.
Another nail biter for the Cubs. 7-5 in the 9th. Beck will go off the windup now against Grissom. Rod ready. Here he goes. The pitch. Steve Wright called 0-1.
Jeff Jenkins in the on-deck circle. But the game is on the bases for the Brewers.
They've got him loaded. 5 unanswered runs. The pitch. It's upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Probably the person who is the least nervous in the ballpark, and that includes everybody here, including us, is Rod Beck. He's been here before, and let's see if he comes out on top here today. 1
ball, 1 strike. Here comes the pitch. Squibbed foul. Boy, he barely made contact with that ball. It's 1-2. Skipper, everybody in Cubs land echoes those sentiments. Come on, Rod. 1-2 to Grissom. Here it comes. 2-2.
We tried to heat him upstairs with a fastball. Probably setting him up for this off-speed pitch. It's probably going to be the forkball, and hopefully it'll be down.
And here's the pitch you want it to happen on. You don't want to go 3-2. 2-2 to Grissom. Here it comes. Whoa, where was that?
Well, that was awfully close. Rod Beck surprised him with a fastball. Jerry Davis thought it was inside, so we'll run out the string as that one just misses inside.
So now it is full. 3-2. Foul back again.
We went to the forkball. 3-2, and Grissom just able to stay alive. Boy, everybody on their feet. What a game.
Oh, man. I'm going to have gray hair by the end of this year. The 3-2. High pop. Infield fly if it's fair. 2 down.
Well, Rod Beck refused to give in. He went to 2 off-speed pitches, the second of which was popped straight up. And now he's going to face the youngster, Jeff Jenkins. He does not have a hit today, and he's never faced Rod Beck.
This has been unbelievable, man. Every game goes down to the final hitter, it seems.
And every game goes down to the final pitch. There's no comfort zone these days as far as the Cubs are concerned. And nationwide, there are a lot of interested spectators watching the Jenkins-Beck matchup with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
And a 7-5 Cub lead. The shooter winds and fires. Swing! What a rip he had, and fouled it back. Oh, he got a belt-high fastball, and he just missed it.
And that might be the last fastball he sees. And he tried to attack the first ball fastball and fouled it back.
The winning run at first, the tying run at second for Milwaukee. The 0-1 pitch to Jenkins from the shooter. Here it is. Just missed to even the count. 1-1. Oh, baby. What a game. Here comes the 1-1 to Jenkins. Off-speed roller is foul. And now the Brewers down to their last strike.
I figure you got a very anxious youngster up. You got a veteran on the mound. He's going to try to get him out of the strike zone. That forkball down in the dirt, which will put some pressure on Scott Service. But Rod has surprised some people with face-high fastballs in similar situations.
Look at all these Cub fans roaring in Milwaukee. 1-2. Bases loaded. Beck ready. And now time call. The Cubs 1 strike away from putting the pressure on the Mets in New York tonight.
Looked to me like that call was the backdoor slider. They hit the outside corner. I'm not sure what he wants this time.
We'll find out. Here's the 1-2. Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You just can't go to 3-2 here because it allows everybody to run. And Burnitz does have good speed at first.
2-2. Jenkins with a quality at bat here. Beck ready. Here it comes. Line drive deep toward left. Brown back, still going at the edge of the track. Has dropped it. Oh, he dropped it. Oh no! 2-run score.
It's a tie game. They go ahead. They win the game.
The run scored, and the Milwaukee Brewers have won it. I don't believe it. The ball was in his glove. He dropped it, and the
ball bounded away with the runners going in what looked like the end of the ball game. It just bounded away. Burnett's never stopped. The ball bounded away. It for a while looked like he was going to stop at third. And then he came trotting home with the 8th and winning run. Wow. And Brant Brown absolutely beside himself. Oh, my. What a ball
was
game.
in his glove.
And what a way to end it.
2 runs scored, and by the time he recovered, the winning run scored for Milwaukee, and it's one of the most heartbreaking ball games in Cub history. It's got to be. Sammy Sosa hits 2 home runs. The game was won. Beck had it nailed down, and Brownie flat out dropped it, and Milwaukee wins it in the 9th inning. The Cubs fall a half game behind New York now. I am shocked. 8-7, and here's another look at what happened.
Well, Chip, we've seen some strange endings to ball games. I think that Jenkins thought that that's the last out of the game. Unfortunately for the Cubs, Burnett's never stopped running. Brant Brown has it in the glove. It bounds away, and this is when Burnett's turned it on around third base, and he scores the winning run. It's right there in the glove and drops out. The Cubs go down to defeat 8-7. Wow.
The bases were loaded. Jenkins fly to left, and the Cubs had a 7-0 lead. They lost it, and they lost the game 8-7.
Well, you see just about everything in this game, and we've seen games ended on seemingly innocuous throws to first base. The Terry Mulholland situation in the Astrodome, and there's nothing you can say about it. The Cubs played a very good, solid ball game. They had played an errorless game until that last slicing line drive away from Brown. He was put into the game as a defensive replacement for Glenn Allen Hill, and the ball just got away. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it except head to Houston and see if you can win 3 games there.
Wow, what a shocking turnaround for the Cubs, who now have to watch the scoreboard from the air as we head down to Houston. And Dan Roan, we've seen some crazy stuff, as Steve mentioned, this year, but I don't think we expected that to happen to Brant Brown and the Cubs today.
Boy, Chip, I'll tell you what, I'm in the camera bay here near the Cubs dugout. When that ball goes up in the air, you see it's not going out of the park, and Brant Brown circling. He's got his hand up and says, I got it. I'm jumping over the wall to get Sammy coming off the field for us, and the next thing I know, the game's over and the Brewers have won. The people that are down here are absolutely in shock. I mean, it got so quiet so fast, it was unbelievable. And oh, you just hope this isn't one of those moments that goes down in Cubs history, and we know what some of that history has been all about in the past few years.
All I can remember was the ball was hit to Brown, and Beck and everybody else thought it was over, and it popped away, and you just got that sickening feeling in your soul. You knew 2 runs had scored, and by the time the Cubs got the ball back into the infield and shocked the winning run, it scored, and that's all she wrote.
Well, obviously with 2 outs, you know they're running, but for a moment it appeared that Jeremy Burnitz might have slowed down around third base, but as the ball got away from Brant Brown, Burnitz, with good speed, was coming as hard as he could. He scored easily, and I got to tell you, the Cub fans here are just in a state of shock, and I know you at home feel the same way. A game you seemingly had won, and Rod Beck probably starting to walk off the mound thinking that he had saved number 50. He made the big pitch at 2-2. He didn't go to 3-2, so the runners were not going with the pitch. Obviously they were going when the ball was hit, and the Cub fans just almost sitting there in a stunned silence at the turn of events. This was a game that the Cubs had 7-0. The Brewers were doing nothing with Steve Trachsel. It stayed that way till the 7th when Jeremy Burnitz led it off with a single. Turned into 4 runs that inning. They got a little closer with a run in the 8th, and they put 3 unearned runs on the board in the 9th inning.
One away for the Brewers to finish out their home schedule with an amazing comeback win. It was 7-0, as Steve mentioned. They scored 4 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th, 3 in the 9th. A game that the Cubs had won. And Cub fans everywhere, you can just see, did I just see what just happened? Yes, you did. Unbelievable. The Cubs were looking at a half-game wild card lead, looking at sweeping the Brewers, looking to head down to Houston with a chance to maybe go up with a game and 3 to play, but that didn't happen.
And not only that, Chip, but the Cubs, with a win here, had their destiny in their own hands. If they win out, they win the wild card. I mean, it might have taken a final win in New York, but if they win out, they win the wild card. As it turns out now, the Cubs are going to need some help.
And that help will have to come in the form of the Montreal Expos, who, again, if you're looking for positives, have beaten New York 7 times in 11 outings. Dan, what's happening down on that field?
Well, everybody is cleared out of the dugout finally, you guys, and are on their way to the clubhouse, and in some cases Sammy and Jim Riggleman and maybe another player or two, the interview room. But as the players walked off the field, I mean, it was eyes to the dirt. Nobody's heads were up, totally devastated. And as Brant Brown came off the field, he was in tears walking into the Cubs locker and Cubs clubhouse, through the dugout and on in. And boy, what a terrible, terrible thing to happen to anybody. It's something that Brant Brown will never forget. Hopefully the Cubs can ease his pain a little bit by winning some of these games in Houston, but this is going to be very difficult for anybody to bounce back. And we will return with more from County Stadium here in Milwaukee right after this.
I think the most important feeding is the one that you start in the fall, so your lawn starts to look healthier in the spring, and consequently you need Scott's Winterizer. When I put down Winterizer in the fall, it allows us to develop a good strong root base, and it allows the lawn to endure the winter weather, and you get a real early greening. This grass is beautiful, thick, deep green. People will stop by and say, "How'd you do that?" Scott's Winterizer gives the grass a kickstart in the fall and makes it really look great in the spring.
With days scheduled down to the minute, no one has time to wait for prescription refills. But with Walgreens' new 24-hour touch-tone pre-fill system, your refills are pre-filled. Just dial the number on your prescription bottle, set your pickup time, and keep your day right on schedule.
Your prescription will be ready at 6:45.
Refills that are ready when you are, only at Walgreens.
3 runs for Milwaukee in the bottom of the 9th inning. A dropped fly ball in left. Jim Riggleman, the Cubs skipper, is standing by in the interview room. Let's join him for his post-game comments.
Yeah, I talked to Brant. You know, I feel so bad for Brant right now because he's agonizing. You know, Brant Brown wants us to win this thing as bad as anybody in that room. He's a great competitor, and we're not in the position we're in right now competing for this wild card position if it's not for Brant Brown. Brant, you know, he took over for Lance when Lance got hurt and just did a great job. And you know, he's a very talented athlete. It's, you know, you get in a time of day. I don't make excuses for anybody, but you get that time of day sometimes, and it's just tough to catch a fly ball out there. Some, you know, it's shadows and ball kind of knuckling out there at him and all that, and it got away from him. You know, as I say, it's. I wish there was something I could say to make it better for Brant right now, but he wants it so bad. That's why it's going to hurt him so bad.
Jim, did he say it was due more to the sun or the shadows?
No, Brant, you know, he's not making any excuses. He missed the ball. He's not saying anything. He just, you know, he's just like the rest of our ball club. We're agonizing right now. You know, it was a tough loss. We win together and we lose together, and we got a tough challenge ahead of us now in Houston. But you know what? When we if we win that ball game today, we go to Houston. We got to win the ball game Friday. We still got to win the ball game Friday. You know, I'm responsible for the wins and losses, and you know, there's a lot of things I could have done differently in the ball game. So certainly, you know, that's what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at what happened there at the end.
Jim, will you talk about
Well, Jim Riggleman's a stand-up guy. So is Brant Brown. And it's still just a shocking turn of events. That's all you can say. 8-7 our final score. Our Budweiser plays of the game. Sammy Sosa ties Mark McGwire with 2 home runs today. 1 to right, 1 to straightaway center. His 64th, his 65th of the year. The Cubs were enjoying a 7-0 lead, cruising right along. And then disaster struck in the last 3 innings of this ball game. The Cubs do have to go out and win in Houston Friday. They do have to win Saturday. They do have to win Sunday. But now if New York wins tonight, they don't hold their fate in their own hands. That's the big difference in today's turnaround. A wild card game. Cubs a half game back behind New York. The Giants 2.5 games back, and they are winning today 4-1. The Expos and Mets will battle a little bit later on. Bobby Jones against Carl Pavano. We're back at it Friday from the Astrodome. The Cubs and the Astros battle at 7 o'clock. It'll be Kevin Tampany once again going for his 20th win of the year. Jose Lima will go for the Astros. Folks, an absolutely crushing defeat in Milwaukee. 8-7 is your final score. We'll have more as the 10th inning show will continue right here on WGN after this time out.
Chicago Cubs baseball on WGN. Brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. The new Dodge. From cars to minivans to trucks, it's about change. The new Dodge. Ameritech. In a world of technology, people make the difference. Pepsi. Generation Next. ComEd, the official electric company of the Chicago Cubs. ComEd, what do you do with your power? And by Southwest Airlines, offering low fares and frequent flights. Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the Chicago Cubs.
Shannon Doherty, Holly Marie Combs, Alyssa Milano, Charm.
Premiering Wednesday, October 7th on WGN.
Sometimes it's the smallest decisions that could change your life forever.
Sometimes you don't know you have a choice
I know you want me to follow in your footsteps, but I just can't.
until you make one.
What are you doing here?
This is where I'm going.
That is so unbelievable.
Freedom comes when you learn to let go. Creation comes when you learn to say no.
Do you think that my coming here was a bad idea, too?
Felicity.
Premiering Tuesday night at 8 on WGN.
Dawson's Creek moves to a new night.
Dawson's Creek moves to Wednesday.
A special event featuring 2 of the most watched episodes from the premiere season of Dawson's Creek.
Don't! Oh my God!
And previews from all new episodes that begin October 7th.
I would really like to hold your hand.
Dawson's Creek moves to Wednesdays.
A new night on the WB.
Tonight at 7 on WGN.
If you can't get enough of the Slayer, here's your chance to take a mega bite out of Buffy. Just log on to www.WGN-TV.com. See what's at stake for Buffy, Xander, Willow, and Angel. Cool. You can download photos, catch up on episodes you missed, hook up with other Buffyites on our message boards, and check out cast bios you can really sink your teeth into.
Fabulous web pages.
So go ahead, log on if you dare, and connect with Buffy at www.WGN-TV.com. It'll slay you.
Only one news team brings you Chicago's very own news.
WGN News.
Local news that makes a difference to you.
Chicago's very own.
Reporters who know Chicago with years of experience covering Chicago's news.
WGN News.
And when local news breaks, we'll bring it to you live.
Chicago's very own.
It's Chicago's news. Clear, fair, plain and simple. From the one news team that knows Chicago.
Chicago's very own.
WGN News at 9.
Welcome to the 10th inning show from Milwaukee and County Stadium with Steve Stone, Chip Caray. 8-7 your final score. The Milwaukee Brewers come from behind in the 9th inning with 3 to steal this game on the dropped fly ball by Brant Brown. And Stoney, this is my first year with the Cubs. You've been here a lot longer than I have. Where does this heartbreaking loss rank? This has got to be an unbelievable, sickening feeling everywhere for Cub fans.
Well, Chip, I have to go back to the same feeling I had when the ball went through the legs of Leon Durham, when the ball went out of the ballpark off the bat of Steve Garvey against Lee Smith, and the feelings that you had at that point. Your heart has to go out to Brant Brown, who's really had a magnificent year for the Cubs this year. Unfortunately today, he dropped the ball in what for the Cubs was the biggest ball game of the year. The only advantage you have is there's still 3 games left. They're in Houston. Yes, it's a tough place to win. However, the Mets are going to be in Atlanta. And maybe the Mets will lose this evening to Montreal. I mean, nobody thought Montreal would beat them last night. If the Mets do lose tonight, then the Cubs will be tied in the wild card. Again, you have to look at San Francisco because right now they're just one loss in back of the Cubs. They're winning their ball game today. So the only advantage you have, and make no mistake about it, this is a crushing defeat for the Cubs, but the only advantage you have is there's still 3 games left. And still, as we've seen this year, Chip, anything can happen as long as you have a team with the heart and the soul of the Chicago Cubs, because they've battled back from so much adversity this year that you have to say that this team is not done yet, not by a long shot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say to you. That's the one characteristic of this ball club all year. They have battled back from all kinds of adversity all season long. But what's it like in that locker room for the fans who obviously live and die with the play of this ball club? What's that like as a player after a game is practically won and you practically give it away?
Well, right now it's very tough in that locker room because to a man, everybody in the Cubs thought that they had won a very big ball game here and taken a half-game lead in the wild card. The reality of it is when you leave the field and realize that you're a half game back in the wild card, you just have to tell yourself, look, what's done is done. There's nothing that anybody can do about this. I think the team will rally around Brant Brown. I think they will go to Houston, obviously disappointed with the occurrences of today. You just have to rededicate yourself to sweeping the Astros in Houston. And that's a team that probably doesn't have a whole lot to play for because I don't think they're going to wind up with the best record in the league. And I'm not saying that they're going to meet that series with any less intensity, but you're not going to see their starting pitchers go complete games there. You're going to probably see them go 5 innings. The Cubs have their best at this point, Kevin Tapani, going to the mound on Friday night. There is an off day tomorrow for this team to regroup, catch their breath, forget about what happened here today. They know that they let one get away. They know that this was a crushing loss for them. However, when they come out on Friday, I would expect that anything that happened before will have no bearing on what happens Friday night in the Astrodome.
Well, it is a cliche, but it's such a well-used and well-worn expression. That's why it's a cliche. That's the great thing about baseball. There is a tomorrow, and certainly while the Cubs will have an off day tomorrow, they've got 3 games left. They've just got to go win ball games, as Jim Riggleman said in his press conference a little bit earlier. In fact, the skipper was downstairs. He just finished up. We expect to hear from Sammy Sosa on the day, and that's what makes this game so sad for the Cubs. On a day when Sammy Sosa tied Mark McGwire, the Cubs had the big lead, 7-0. They were cruising right along, and then in the 7th inning on, it was all Milwaukee.
Well, the Cubs have not had the ability to put teams away, and yes, you can look at the one play that obviously turned around the ball game, the last play of the game, but if you look before that, the Cubs 7-0 lead. They let this team get back to 7-5 before Brant Brown dropped that ball, and so the Cubs were unable to put away the Brewers, and the Brewers, you have to give them credit. They kept on fighting.
What did you see? So Sammy Sosa in the press conference room. Let's join him.
Everybody that was in the ballpark know what happened. I think that myself, Brown has been with us all year long. He's been doing a great job, and what happened to Brown today can happen to anybody that play this game. And I think that he have a lot of support for our team. And what will happen today, we haven't give up yet. We have another 3 games to go. And what we need to do, just forget about it today and keep going.
Sammy, up until this year, you only really saw the Brewer pitching staff in interleague play last year. Do you have any explanation as to your great success against this Brewer pitching staff this year?
Can you explain your great success against the Brewers pitching staff this year?
Well, I have to say, this is my lucky team. And, I think that, whatever been happening with the Brewer, how can I explain to you? I have to say, I was struggling. And now, I came back today, and I feel real great today. And, hey, it's part of the game, buddy.
If you can give back Homer 64 and 65 and trade for the win, would you do that?
Definitely. Everybody know that what been happening to me, it is great, but in the other side, I care about win. I care about the team, and our situation right now is that, I have to say that we played great today, no matter what happened in the last inning. And for the last 3 games in Houston, we just are going to decide if we're going to go to the playoff, yes or no.
Have you ever played in a game that featured so many emotions, the highs of hitting 64 and 65, and then the incredible lows losing a game that you guys basically should have won?
Can you describe the highs and lows of hitting the 2 homers and losing a game you should have won?
Well, the high is that first time I hit 65, and the low is that you know, the way we lost that game, and everybody know that everybody play this game don't want to make a mistake, but as a human being, as a person, nobody's perfect.
Sammy, yesterday you said you were conceding the home run race to Mark. How do you feel about it now?
Yesterday you said you were conceding a home run race to Mark. How do you feel about that now?
I still have, you know, that feeling for Mark. I think that he's going to finish right in front of me. For me, it's no make no different. If I finish first, I will, but if I finish last, it no make no different for me. I think that I have another thing to thinking about, and I have another thing to do. It is a playoff.
Right here in front.
Oh, could you explain what it was like connecting with those home run balls? Did you know those were home runs when you hit them?
Can you talk about the 2 home runs?
Well, first I had to talking about, you know, 0 for 20 first, and sorry. Let's make it 22. I had to say that as a person, as a player, after you come 0 for 21 and have a game that I have today, it's not because I hit in 2 home runs, it's because of the way that I played today. I had 3 base on ball, and that 2 home run that I hit, and that right there, it is a good sign. I feel great today. Today I was real concentration at the home plate, and I was really be patient, and that's what, you know, when I'm like that, I have more opportunity, more chances to make much better contact.
Sammy, can you talk a little bit about the 2 at-bats, please? Talk about the pitches you hit and just a little bit of explanation about each at-bat.
Can you talk about the 2 home run at-bats, what type of pitches you were hitting?
Well, those 2 are bad. That when I hit in home run, you know, the first 2 time, he walked me, and then the 3rd time, you know, I was up there and he threw me a few pitches out of strike zone, and I just took, and then he came with a fastball a little bit inside, and I have a good contact, go to right field with that one, and the second one, he threw me a lot of breaking pitch in and out, and I fight for that at bat. He got me 2 strikes right away, but you know, I came back and relaxed and see good pitches, and then he threw me a fastball.
George. Sammy, have you talked to anybody about getting the ball back that the guy caught for 64? Have you been contacted yet?
Have you talked to the guy who caught 64 about getting the ball back?
No, but I had 65.
Well, Sammy Sosa with a smile on a day that's very tough to smile on for Cubs fans. 8-7. Milwaukee scores 8 unanswered runs in the last 3 innings, and the Cubs fall a half game behind the Mets in the wild card. Stay tuned as our 10th inning show continues. We will check out the highlights from today's game at County Stadium. You saw Sammy Sosa's blasts. There were some other big plays as well. We'll have them for you after this.
Presenting the vacuum cleaner you won't believe.
I couldn't believe how much hair was picked up.
It picks up everything. It's amazing. And you don't have to have bags.
The incredible Phantom Fury vacuum. You won't believe the power. It devours dirt.
I was absolutely amazed at the power that it had.
The secret is patented dual cyclonic action driven by a 12-amp motor and no bags. Instead, an easy-to-empty bin. You won't believe the versatility. And watch this. In a snap, the handle converts to a cleaning wand.
You see a cobweb? Zap, right now.
3 onboard attachments reach everywhere dirt is lurking. And for cleaner air, a certified HEPA filter.
I have a new toy. I love it.
The Phantom Fury.
It's incredible. That's all I can tell you. It's really incredible.
Call for a free video of the Phantom Fury in action. You have to see it to believe it. There's no obligation. Call now.
Well, we don't really want to do it, but in the spirit of fairness and in good play, we have to show you the highlights from today's game. 8-7, Milwaukee had the lead. The Cubs scored the first 7 runs of the game. Gary Gaetti with a sinking line drive misplayed by Jeff Jenkins, who turned out to be the hero on the day. It scores Sammy Sosa. The Cubs were up 3-0. Steve Trachsel was cruising right along in this ball game. He had a 2-hit shutout at one point. He strikes out Jeremy Burnett's looking. Sammy Sosa was 0 for 21. He'd been walked twice. He'd score once, and then he took care of business, taking a Rafael Roqe pitch out of the yard into right field. That was home run number 64 on the year, and the Cubs continued to pad their lead. His next at bat came in the very next inning, in the 6th, and there was no doubt about this one. A fastball right down the middle, and he tattooed it into straightaway center field over the boards for number 65. The Cubs were leading by 2 with Rod Beck on the mound. The bases were loaded, and Jeff Jenkins was the batter. The count was 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a fly ball in left field. Brant Brown had it. The ball was dropped, and the parade of runners came across for Milwaukee. Burnitz scores the game-winning run, and Milwaukee steals the victory by a final score of 8-7. Fox picked up the win, by the way. Rod Beck fails in his quest to pick up save number 50. He takes the loss, and the Cubs will head back to Houston with their, well, licking their wounds. One of the most crushing defeats in Cub history today suffered in Milwaukee. A final word from County Stadium as our 10th inning show continues after this.
My name is Marjorie. I'm 65 and on Medicare. I use insulin to control my diabetes, and I'm low on my diabetic testing supplies. I should be driving to the drugstore now, but I'm not. Medicare covers my supplies, and I could be filling out these forms now, but I'm not. I could be paying out of pocket for all my daily testing supplies, but I'm not. Thanks again. Liberty Medical does it all for me.
Great news. Now Medicare covers diabetic testing supplies for everyone who tests their blood sugar. Get free home delivery with the cost billed directly to Medicare. You'll have no upfront out-of-pocket expense, no trips to the drugstore, no forms to file.
I could be just a little pressed for time and cash, but I'm not.
For more information on home delivery, call Liberty Medical, 1-800-767-8500. That's 1-800-767-8500. You'll save money and time.
An off day tomorrow, then it's Houston Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Kevin Tapani will face Jose Lima in the Dome on Friday night. Kevin will go for his 20th win of the year. The rest of the Cubs starting rotation to be decided for Saturday and Sunday. The Cubs will enter that Houston series at least a half game out in the wild card unless New York can drop their game to the Montreal Expos. If New York wins tonight, the Cubs will be a game back. If Montreal wins, we'll still be tied with 3 games left to play. A crushing defeat to the hands of the Brewers. The final home game of the year is a game that Milwaukee fans and Cub fans will never forget. Sammy Sosa solidified his MVP credentials. He hit 2 home runs. He has 65 on the year, but the Cubs let one slip through their fingers in the 9th inning. For Steve Stone, Arnie Harris, and our entire crew, this is Chip Caray on Happy Totals tonight. 8-7, your final score. We'll see you in Houston. So long, everybody.
Meet Zach and Slater. Make a date with the babes of Bayside High. Catch the next Saved by the Bell.
Weekdays at 4 starting October 5th. We now join our program, already in progress.
Gosh, you're electrifying.
Who are you?
Hi, I'm Kevin, Screech's robot. Welcome to our world.
Oh, hi, Kelly. Sorry I'm late. I was developing pictures in my darkroom.
They're for Robot Illustrated. I'm Hunk of the Month.
I see you've met my robot, Kevin.
Screech, he's just like you.
It's because I programmed him.
That's what he thinks.
How fun. Well, Screech, you've got a great room. I mean, I've never seen anything like it before.
Guess you've only lived on one planet. Now let's get started.
I brought all my books. Where do you want to begin?
Let's start with atomic energy. What do you know about nuclear fission?
Oh, not much. Always end up losing my bait.
Better put it on a pot of cocoa, Kevin.